Well, anyways, or it's getting late. Here, I'll give you a ride back home. Sir Fernand Horse picked Orr up and he instantly took off, flying back to their castle. When they arrived, they were greeted by the royal guards. They instantly headed back in their room. Sir Fernand Horse, he felt so tired he just fell on the bed. Not interested in taking a shower with me for tonight? Nope. What about making out with me later tonight? Probably. Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Oh, by the way, Sir Final Wars. Yeah? Um, last night, I heard you mention a girl by the name of Allison. Sir Final Wars' eyes were widened, then they were saddened for a little bit. Who is she? Someone I met a long time ago. It's just a few months. It's a story for another time. I'm not that comfortable talking about it. Plus, I'm already tired enough that I had to explain a huge backstory to the others, so I'm not really interested in having another backstory. Alright, take your time. Sir Finalworth looked back. The memories with Allison. Allison wasn't an ordinary girl. She was a girl that he never thought he could fall in love with. She was a girl that he fell in love with the relationship was very strange and odd, but wasn't really that long or short. But still. She was a werewolf hunter. And he ended up staying with her for a while. Then, wasn't before long until a rival who would later fall in love with Allison, later to come. Through Final Wars met his rival. His name was Scott. Through Final Wars and Scott were basically battling each other for Allison. When she was near, she got them to stop. But when she wasn't around, Through Final Wars always gained the upper hand. He always gained the upper hand, no matter how many times Scott tried to outsmart him or outthink him. He always gained the upper hand. But it wasn't before long until another thing ended up happening. Sir Flowers was actually managed to have a child with Allison. His name was Max. Sir Flowers and Allison weren't married, but Sir Flowers did loved and cared for her as if she was like a wife or something. and it really upsetted him when Allison died. When he arrived to the scene, he saw that Scott was holding Allison in his arms. He assumed that he killed her, although the real culprit was basically unknown. The real cause of Allison's killer was unknown. Scott tried to tell him that it wasn't him. Silverhorns didn't listen. He just flat out attacked. And almost basically killed Scott. But if it weren't for Allison to manage to get his attention, Sir Farmers made a promise to Allison that he'll look after their child and raised him well. He also made another promise that he won't tell Max about what happened to his mom. Even if Allison was not Orr, he still loved and cared for her so much. To him, she was like Orr number 2. And she was gone. Ever since that night, something triggered inside of Super Fireworks to become super highly overprotective over his friends and family members. All it took was one single person's death Super Fireworks truly ended up falling in love with. End up dying. That's all it took. It then just took his father and mother's death to trigger that, but it also took Allison's life to get him to basically become super highly aggressive and overprotective of his friends and family members. After that, Survivors ended up raising Max on his own, but one day, Max was taken away from Super Final Wars. Super Final Wars was looking ever since for his son. He was looking day, night, weeks, months, and years. He was looking everywhere for his son and couldn't find him. But Sir Farmers ain't giving up yet. He rather prefer to not tell Orr right now. But still, he could hear Allison's voice in his head. He can hear her. He can feel her. He can even see her. Ever since then, Allison's father, he never seen or heard from him ever since. That day, ever since that day, Survivors barely got any word out of Allison's dad. But it didn't mean he too also helped survivors in search of his son. Everyone tried to help him. But if there was one person in particular he did not trust it was Scott. That was the number one person survivors refused to accept his help. Survivors still doesn't trust him to this day. Survivors, he was very devastated about what happened that day. Survivors decided to go out and get some fresh air before waiting for Orin. He got some fresh air. It wasn't before long until he heard a familiar voice. What are you doing? Hey, Allison. Why are you just sitting here? Our son's out there, you know. Look, I'm doing the best I can to find him. I don't know where he's at. Okay? And I'm sorry that I couldn't save your life. It's not about my life, Super Final Wars. It's about our son. Max. He could be out there somewhere. Look, I'm doing the best I can. It's not like I can't just simply ask around. To find out where exactly he is. But I promise you, I will find him. If that's the last thing I'll do, I will find him. And I'll make sure he will become a good, brave future king. Though I'm not the king yet. Still. If it's the last thing I'll do, I won't rest until Scott pays for what he's done. You were all mine once, you know.